Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel where we dive into relationships, human behavior, and all the juicy drama that makes life, well, interesting. If you're new here, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and make sure to turn on notifications because trust me, you don't want to miss what we've got coming up. Oh, and if you've ever wondered if your partner's behavior is just quirky or downright suspicious, you're in the right place. Today we're talking about cheating. Yeah, that dreaded C word. And let's be real. No one wants to think their boo is out there being shady. But hey, better to know the red flags now, right? Buckle up. Because if your partner has ever said or done these 10 things, they might be cheating. Let's dive in. All right, first on the list, and you saw this coming, is the classic phone guarder. If your partner suddenly treats their phone like a newborn baby, won't leave it lying around, or flips it face down every time they're near you, you've got a reason to raise an eyebrow. I mean, come on. Nobody's Candy Crush score is that confidential. They also might start taking calls in another room, whispering when talking, or suddenly changing their passcodes without explanation. It's one thing to value privacy, but if secrecy increases dramatically, you have to wonder why. Another huge giveaway is when they become hyper-aware of where their phone is at all times. Do they panic if they forget it? Do they snatch it away if you even glance at the screen? If so, that's a major red flag. And let's talk about social media behavior. Have they suddenly unfollowed or blocked you on certain platforms? Are they deleting messages or clearing search histories frequently? This kind of digital secrecy often means they're trying to hide something. Here's a spicy one. Has your partner suddenly started putting extra effort into their appearance? New clothes, fancy cologne, gym selfies? Now, before you say, they just want to look good for themselves. Fair enough. But if this glow-up coincides with other shady behavior, it's time to ask some questions. Have they changed their hairstyle? Started dressing differently? Wearing scents they never wore before? These can all be signs that they are trying to impress someone new. A little self-improvement is great, but if it's out of character, take note. And let's be real. If they never cared about fashion before and now suddenly they're shopping for trendy outfits and hitting the gym like a personal trainer, you might not be the reason for the change. Pay close attention to their new routine. Are they spending an unusual amount of time getting ready? Are they going out more frequently and coming back home late? If they start dressing up just to go grab coffee but never did before, something could be up. If your partner has suddenly become Employee of the Month, that's great. Or is it? Working late, going on last-minute business trips, or suddenly needing to take that oh-so-important conference call in the car? It's a tale as old as time. One red flag is if they can never explain in detail what they're working on. They might be vague or dismissive when you ask, and that's not normal. A partner who values honesty will keep you in the loop. Another key sign? They suddenly have a new coworker they keep mentioning in passing. Maybe it's Jessica from accounting or Steve from marketing. If this coworker is suddenly a big topic of conversation, but you've never met them, keep your radar up. You should also pay attention to how they talk about work. Do they seem unusually excited about going to the office? Do they dress up more than usual? If so, it might not be about their job at all. Next up, let's talk about defensiveness. If your partner blows up at you for even the smallest question like, "Hey, where were you?" or "Who's texting you at midnight?" that's a red flag. A guilty conscience often leads to anger as a deflection strategy. Instead of answering you calmly, they may turn the tables and accuse you of being controlling or paranoid. This is classic avoidance behavior. Pay attention to their body language too. Are they avoiding eye contact, getting fidgety, crossing their arms? These are all signs that someone is feeling guilty and trying to hide something. Also, if they suddenly start saying things like, "You don't trust me," or "Why are you always checking on me?" when you barely even ask questions, it's a sign they feel the need to deflect. One of the most heartbreaking signs is when your partner just stops caring. They're not interested in date nights, don't text you during the day, or shrug off serious conversations about the future. It's important to observe if their behavior towards you has changed. Less affection, fewer compliments, and a lack of engagement can signal that they are emotionally checking out of the relationship. They might also stop arguing altogether. If they used to engage in discussions and now they just say whatever to everything, that's a sign they've mentally checked out. Additionally, do they forget important dates like your anniversary or birthday when they never did before? A lack of emotional investment can mean their attention is elsewhere. Here's a sneaky one projection. If your partner starts accusing you of cheating out of the blue, it might be their guilt talking. It's almost like they're trying to shift the narrative and make you the bad guy. Psychologists call this projection, when someone deflects their own behavior onto someone else to avoid accountability. If they're suddenly hyper-paranoid about your actions, it could be because they know they're guilty. Watch out if they suddenly start demanding to see your phone or questioning your whereabouts when they never did before. This is classic misdirection. Also, if they become obsessed with knowing your location and checking in on you all the time, it may not be concern. It may be them trying to justify their own shady behavior. One of the biggest red flags in a relationship is a sudden change in intimacy. If your partner used to be affectionate and suddenly avoids physical touch, stops initiating intimacy, or comes up with excuses to avoid being close to you, it's worth asking why. It's not just about sex. Affection like holding hands, hugging, or even playful touches might suddenly disappear. This could be a sign that they're getting their emotional or physical needs met elsewhere. Of course, stress, medical issues, or emotional changes can play a role, but if they refuse to talk about it and you notice other shady behaviors, it might be a bigger issue. Oh, they're just a friend. Famous last words, right? If your partner has suddenly become super close to someone new but acts weird when you ask about them, that's a red flag. Do they mention this friend all the time? Do they spend time texting them constantly, laughing at inside jokes, or suddenly making plans without including you? Emotional cheating often starts before physical cheating, and secrecy around a new connection is a sign. And here's the kicker. If you ask to meet this friend and they act weird about it, that's a big giveaway. If there's nothing to hide, why not introduce you? Have you noticed your partner picking fights over little things? Maybe they used to love the way you dressed, but now they criticize it. Or maybe they're constantly nitpicking how you talk, eat, or do everyday tasks. This is called negative comparison. When someone starts emotionally detaching, they look for reasons to justify their actions. If they're comparing you unfavorably to others, or making you feel like you can't do anything right, they may be mentally checking out of the relationship. If they're belittling you while showering someone else with compliments, take that as a major warning sign. You deserve respect, not constant criticism. Let's get real. Your gut feeling is usually right. If you constantly feel something is off but can't pinpoint it, trust that instinct. Humans are wired to pick up on micro-expressions, behavioral shifts, and emotional energy. If you feel uneasy, don't ignore it. Think about it. Have you caught them in small lies? Do you feel anxious when they're on their phone? Do they avoid deep conversations about the future? All these subtle signs add up. Your intuition is your greatest tool. If you feel like something isn't right, it's time to have an honest conversation with your partner. So there you have it, folks. 10 red flags to keep an eye out for. Now let me be clear. Not every one of these signs guarantees cheating. Maybe your partner's just stressed, busy, or really loves their gym buddy, Steve. But if you're noticing multiple signs at once, it's time to have an honest conversation. And remember, you deserve loyalty, love, and transparency. Don't settle for less. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more juicy content, and drop a comment below. Have you ever experienced any of these signs? Let's spill the tea in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Stay awesome, stay curious, and stay away from cheaters. Bye!